Okay, good morning. Hello, everyone. My name is Hamed Ektiari, University of Minnesota. Delighted to be here, and many thanks to Sophie for the introduction of the Lancet Commission group. I wish that Naomi and Dan, they have been able to be here, but some of those members are already here. So Sophia, Mark, Eta, and the group of people who are working specifically on that Lancet Psychiatry Commission paper on problematic usage of the internet. So my talk will be mainly focused on the assessment and the classification aspect of PUI, or problematic usage of the internet. I put all my slides on the QR code, so feel free to just scan it. It's on Dropbox, and I will provide the QR code at the end as well if you are interested to have the slides. And we will definitely be happy to further discuss potential collaborations in the future, no conflict of interest, and starting with the global coverage of internet over the time. You know that it's just getting more and more available around the world, with now some like a 67% of people around the world, they have access to internet. And just having a sense how widely that coverage is, just 73% of people have access to clear water, drinking water. So just comparing that, it's just getting close to the level of access that people have to safe water resources. And that is really, really widely distributed around the world, which is very important in terms of considering that as a great kind of global achievement. Meanwhile, there are some problematic challenges. And today we'll discuss a little bit about that. So I'm starting with a clinical vignette, hopefully having a kind of an overview about what we are discussing about. So we have Alma, 25 years old, software engineer in a multinational company. Most of her free time on browsing, social media, seeing short videos, playing online games, chatting with friends. She has started to realize that she neglects her health, hygiene, and overall kind of function because of using too much internet. She started to lose her interest to offline activities, hobbies that she was enjoying before. And most of the time she fantasizes being on internet. And now she has started to feel anxious and depressed. And she tried to reduce her internet usage, but she failed several times. Now she feels guilty and ashamed of her internet use. And her work performance is just going down. And it seems that she's suffering significantly from her internet habits. And now she's receiving several warnings from her colleagues about the poor quality of her work, frequent mistakes, and there is a risk that she's going to lose her job. That is a clinical scenario. And then, do you expect to see a case vignette like this in your clinical practice as a psychiatrist in your country? And do you feel comfortable to manage a case like this in your clinical practice? Who feels comfortable to manage that? Okay. And then what are the further assessments that you like to do for Alma? What are the further questions? What are the other details that you want to know about her? Structured assessment, informal assessment, what are the other details that you want to know about her? And then, what are the treatment strategies that you have? Do you want to go for pharmacotherapy? Do you want to go for different therapeutic options, maybe neuromodulation? What are the therapeutic options that you have on the table for her? So we started a team of global colleagues specifically discussing about health responses to problematic usage of internet in the global level, and the resources that are available. So we shaped an international group of colleagues who, some of them are already here. I can see Christiana in the back, and many other colleagues who are already in the room. We started to work with 50 addiction medicine societies around the world and asking them how are the resources that they have for dealing with some similar case scenarios. And we discussed about non-specified PUI, but also about problematic online gambling, problematic online gaming, problematic online shopping, social media use, and pornography. So all those 6 different case scenarios, providing case vignettes, and then asking people if you have resources to deal with these things in your own countries. Just giving you a sense about the responses that we have from societies around the world, about their assessment of the current situation within their societies. So asking whether there are a specific interest group within their societies that are interested to work, for example, specifically in the field of PUI. And as you can see here, half of them, they said yes, half of them no, and some of them don't know. So this is the kind of the situation that we have across different countries around different continents. And then, how many expert training programs do you have? As you can see here, 63% of them mentioned that there is no expert training program in their society or in their country that is available for specifically training people for these problematic internet use case scenarios. And then whether there is a specific certification program for people who are going to provide treatment and therapeutic resources. And it is something like 80% of them. So just 10% of the societies and countries, they mentioned that there is a program, a certification program on these sort of behavioral addictions. And limited resources for education and development plans, specific in different countries. So you see that it's a global issue that there are limited resources, even in the national level among societies. But what we are discussing about, what are the classifications that we are discussing, and what we already have in ICD-11. So far, when we discuss about PUI, in ICD-11, we have 3 existing categories. So we have internet gaming disorder, gambling disorder with internet involvement, so a specific specifier for online, and also compulsive sexual behavior disorder. So these are the 3 categories that are already existing. And then other categories are being discussed: problematic use of social media, problematic online shopping, and also cyberchondria, cyberbullying. So these are the main categories that are still under discussion. And I can imagine Mark and Sophia will further discuss about kind of the current situation. But these are the categories that we already have. But when you discuss about these major categories, something like 6, 7 different categories, and what are the terminologies that people are using for these categories? Is there any sort of convergence across different disciplines on using specific terminologies? So we started to look into the literature and the recent publications. So we started to look into publication in 2022 and 2023, and we found 2,500 publications specifically around the idea of problematic usage of the internet. Online gaming, online shopping, all those areas that we have been discussing. And trying to put them together in terms of when they are using specific terminologies regarding these categories, what are the converging terminologies that they have? As you can see here, which is quite interesting, that from those 2,500 publications, around 800, 900 of them, they used PUI as a terminology in their paper. But others, they are using other terminologies. And there are many publications. For example, when you are talking about online gaming disorder, over 500 publications, less than 100 of them, they also have terminologies regarding the umbrella concept of PUI. So they do not put themselves in that sort of umbrella, under that umbrella term as PUI. And they have a sort of a separate identity. So they do not connect themselves to that sort of umbrella term. And that umbrella term can provide specific resources because they have shared kind of pathophysiology, they have shared potential therapeutic options. But this is not the case most of the time for the publications. And that is an ongoing discussion in terms of how that specific umbrella term is going to be helpful, like the way that we use substance use disorder, right? So substance use disorder by itself is not a diagnosis. you need to specify that, okay, this is cocaine use disorder, nicotine use disorder, heroin use disorder. But the general category of substance use disorder is helpful to just put an umbrella term, putting all those diagnoses together and support them as something that is going to be converging concept. Further beyond that, we also started to look into trials that we have in the field and meta-analysis that people have in the field in terms of what are the therapeutic options that are available. And looking into the literature, so kind of classic systematic review, finding 19 different meta-analyses that people have done. Overall, when you put them together, there is a significant effect of different therapeutic options for PUI, and then something like a 50 rigorous RCTs, I mean, in a reasonable quality. I'm not going to go to the details of the therapeutic option, but as the last part of my talk, mentioning that these trials in the field, they use over 60 different types of outcome measures for PUI. So 50 trials, 60 different outcome measures, and a long list of different things that people are using. Some of them are more frequent, some of them are less frequent, but overall, they are categorized in 3 major groups, or they are addressing 3 major concepts. One is the idea of consumption. The other is severity of use, and also craving. So these 3 concepts are reflected in these outcome measures. As an example, for consumption, how often do you form new relationships with fellows online users? Or for severity, how often do you lose sleep due to being online? Or for craving, do you think that about playing a game all day long? So these are the sort of 3 different categories of outcome measures. And there are multiple examples of them that we need to consider. Now we are running a larger content analysis, and we potentially need to have a little bit of unification in this field. Otherwise, things are really, really diverse. The last piece, there are also other emerging topics like short videos on YouTube and TikTok, and just browsing them all the time. I already have clients that they say that even when they are driving in the highway, they're just looking into those videos. And it's just very risky behavior, as you can imagine. Or now chatbot interactions and all things that are related to chatbots and AI. And as you know, I mean, those chatbots are getting smarter and smarter. So most of them in 2024, they have been under a human average IQ. But if you look to those kind of chatbots in 2025, many of them already surpassed human intelligence. And some of them are something like around IQ of 140. So when you interact with them, you realize, oh my goodness, I'm just interacting with something that is smarter than normal average human that I have around. And even there are specific platforms that, I mean, I did it right today in the morning, something like, as you can see, October 5th. And as you can see here, things are just changing, and the number of those chatbots. So there are online platforms that are tracking those chatbots. And interaction between human and those chatbots is going to be another concept in terms of the problems of use, and also now you know about hallucination, delusional behaviors in that specific human behavior with that model behavior, that they can augment the interaction between these agents, and the challenges in the field. So, last slides. We have a specific addiction psychiatry working group here in WPA. If you are interested, you can just scan the QR code. You can join that specific addiction working group. We have also a World Addiction Medicine report group that are working on developing these global reports. If you are interested, you are definitely welcome to join us. And we have a specific society, International Society for Addiction Medicine. Mark Potenza is going to be the next president of the society. We have one specific day discussing about innovations in addiction therapeutics, discussing about all those innovations, including AI chatbots for addiction treatment. We recorded all the videos of the first innovation day publicly available on YouTube, and we are planning for the next one in 2026 in Rotterdam. So thank you very much for your attention. You can find my slides on the QR code, and I'm available for the questions. Thank you.